Welcome to the Unscripted Podcast. My name's Corby LaCroix, and the song you're hearing right now is called Great and Mighty One, available on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your music. But for now, here's your host and my friend, Aaron Conrad.
Great Redeemer, God of grace.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of My Unscripted with your host, Aaron Conrad. As you can tell, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather today. Voice is a little bit gone here. Oh, no, just kidding. This is Cammi. I am here interviewing today Aaron Conrad, the man behind the mic, over 200 episodes recorded. And we are just going to get to know you, Aaron. So how are you doing today?
I'm great, Cammi. How are you?
As you guys can hear in Aaron's voice, he is not too thrilled about this interview today. So this is going to be super exciting. I'm sure Aaron's going to try to make it the shortest interview that he's ever done. So we're going to try to get the most out of him and get this pep a little bit. So
I've never been more nervous. Honestly, I'm just sick about this. But go ahead, Cammi. You go ahead.
I mean, when we were talking about this and Aaron had thrown in that he may want to get interviewed, I just want to mention that I've been asking you about this for 200 episodes now. So I'm super pumped.
You have. And
okay,
you already sent me a gift today that I wasn't allowed to say a lot. So but I do want to say that if there's anyone I wanted to interview me, it's you. So there you go.
Cool. So you usually start with like a little bio on your guests, and I know you're going to get super uncomfortable for this. So Aaron, after 30 years in a variety of senior leadership positions, Aaron Conrad walked away from it all to start the Unscripted Collective. Since 2021, the Unscripted Collective has continued to build and position itself as an agency for several clients, powered by the Unscripted podcast. The Unscripted Collective provides services like websites, podcasts, and brand awareness for clients. They specialize in everything from scheduling podcast interviews to representing athletes, artists, and other partnership negotiations.
That's right.
That's just so beautifully worded, Aaron. It's like you kind of wrote this yourself.
I mean, I kind of did, but that's fine. It's fine. It really is. It's fine.
Okay. So let's start from the top. Why did you start Unscripted? What did it come from? Where did the name come from? Why?
Oh, gosh. So, I think so. And you sent me a gift that you told me you were going to tell me to shut up. So if people have to see it, maybe I'll put it in the post. I don't know. All right, let me start at the beginning. I think you and I have worked together for now. I think people, if anyone heard the earlier episodes, you and I have worked together for 6 years, and I think we had a vision, and that vision was that I said this today earlier. Business is not transactional. Business is relationships. And I think that you and I understood that business is not transactional. Business is relationships. And we created relationships. Whatever the past was, the past was. My vision was that business is not transactional. Business is relationships. And so I wanted to create an organization. The podcast itself, what we're on today, has been awesome. I never anticipated it would be anything more than what it is, just a podcast. But what it's grown into is a business, and the business has been about relationships. And what I've seen is the relationships that I have created over the course of my life, including the last 30 years, and the last, Cammi, has it been 6 years that you and I've worked together now? 6, 7? I don't even know. It's been 6 or 7 years. And so I think the relationships that you and I created, the relationships that I created over 30 years, are all coming back in a very interesting way, and have created an opportunity for me to create a business. And that's the Unscripted Collective. And so, I don't know that I had a plan a year and a half ago. I think I just jumped out of a plane without a parachute. However, I will say that people like yourself have jumped out with me, and I'm thankful for that. I know you're not going to like that. You're not going to want me to talk a lot about you because it's not your podcast, it's mine. So anyway, all right. that's it. We created the Unscripted Collective, and the last year and a half, I've not had one bad day of work, not one. I have not been stressed. I'm in a better place mentally than I've ever been, and I love what I get to do.
That's awesome. I mean, everyone wants that in their work, their life, their career, and whatever they're doing. You just want to be happy. You want to do something you love. What's the saying? If you don't love what you do, it's not work.
Right.
If you love what I just remember sitting in your office. I remember sitting in your office that day that you told me that, oh, I'm gonna podcast today, or I'm gonna do this interview or that interview, and I think it was something along the lines of, I think you're crazy, or what is that for, or who's gonna do this, or what's gonna do that. And I think that's kind of what a lot of people thought in the beginning, and even now there's such a big misconception on what you do, what we do, kind of who runs the show, who's getting paid, who's not getting, like everything in between. There's so many unknowns. So if there's one big thing that you think people question about what we're doing, what the podcast is, what the My Unscripted is, what would be that one big misconception you think people have?
So the number one question I get is, how do you make money on a podcast? And I tell everybody, you don't. Like, unless your name is Joe Rogan and you do some massive, huge deal, you don't. I don't do the podcast for money. I do the podcast because it drives relationships, which have led to multiple other things. As you know, you have a peek behind the curtain, so to speak, of what we do. I think out of the podcast was born a business. And so what we do websites. So just to give a quick idea, like somewhere along the line in the last year and a half, probably the most, second to you, the most important person in our team is a guy named Nick. And Nick and I met in 15 years of business with the Stanley Works, which was the Stanley Black & Decker, which is a tool company. If you have a Stanley tool measure or a tape measure, you know what that is. Everybody's heard of Stanley. You probably have a Stanley hammer, something. Nick and I met in that corporate world over the course of 15 years. And Nick reached out to me in the process of the last year and a half, and Nick does websites. So Nick, again, second to you, not that I'm ranking our team members, but literally,
but he is.
He's literally, Nick is one of the most important pieces of our business. Nick builds websites. We have multiple clients that we're building websites for right now. I won't go through them now, not, for other reasons, but Nick is incredibly important to our business. So we build websites. You edit podcasts. And I've been so amazed how you have, and this is why I wanted you on our team. You have taken the opportunity to learn, and you and I have learned how to edit podcasts. And so we have clients that we edit podcasts for. We have clients that want us to get them show notes before their podcasts. We have a lot of clients that want to just show up, record, and then that's it. And we do all the backside. So there's so much that we do that's so far beyond this podcast that we're on right now. And I'm just blown away how over the last year and a half, things have just evolved, and they continue to evolve. But yes, the podcast does not make us money, period. Now, if someone's listening and they want to give us a big check to be the title sponsor of this podcast, awesome. But behind that, we have a massive business, and you know that. You've been very much in all the day-to-day that we do. And I blow up your text on a regular basis on all the things that are coming. It's pretty awesome. So anyway, I just love everything I get to do. I love every day that I get to work.
Yeah. And going back to all the people that you've met and the guests that you've had on, is there one in particular? And we'll just take me out of it because you know that you would pick me, but is there one guest in particular or a story that was shared that you feel like you still live, kind of breathe, die by today?
I mean, 190 episodes. I literally can't thank everyone enough. I mean, I could go down the list of people. I mean, I think the coolest thing for me, I started this during the pandemic. I was bored. as you know. So you and I shared an office at our previous employer. We shared an office, and so you were there for the day-to-day, and I'd come in and I'm like, hey, I got this person. It was literally, I was bored. And the circle was very small, but the circle kept growing. And so I went from some of my friends who have amazing lives I wanted to share, and I still do. Like, it's so cool to share their stories. But somehow the thing got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I got to interview some of my heroes. So like Mark Price is just one that comes to the top of my head. Gary Miracle, and you know this as well. The first day that I left a previous employer and was on my way to a new employer, I heard a song called Say I Won't. And the very first words of that song are, today it all begins. And so I hear this song, I go home, I listen to YouTube, I see this guy named Gary Miracle. And most people have heard this story before, but because of that, because of the podcast, because of Gary, we have a friendship. He's a partner of ours now. He's our director of spiritual leadership for our team. It's just been an incredible journey, and to be able to interview my heroes like a Mark Price. I mean, I grew up watching Mark Price. You're not old enough to understand who Mark Price is, and that's fine. It's fine. I'm sure that won't upset Mark, but in Cleveland, Mark's a big deal, and it's just been so cool. Honestly, like I said, I've never had a bad day. It's been awesome.
That's great. I mean, I know you mentioned several people that you really enjoyed. What would be what's the dream guest? Let's manifest it right now. Who do you want?
Well, I can't disclose future guests, but there's two.
Well, someone who you haven't talked to, they have no idea who you are. There's
two. Tony Dungy. And because of the book Quiet Strength, it's my number one book. I've read a ton of books, as you can see on the shelf behind me. I've read a lot of books. Quiet Strength by Tony Dungy is maybe the most influential book in my life. I would say Bob Goff, who you probably don't know, but Bob Goff.
He's a painter.
What?
Right?
Huh?
He's a painter. No.
What?
Who's the Bob man that paints?
No, he's dead,
right?
Cammi.
You know who I'm talking about?
I do know the Little Trees guy. He's passed. Shout out him, Bob Ross. Bob, I don't even know who that is either. Bob Ross. Whoever the Little Trees guy. Okay, he's not with us anymore. So interviewing him would be pretty amazing. It really would, because he's not. Anyway,
next on
there's a man named Bob Goff who wrote a book called Love Does, and it's probably my second favorite book of all time. But again, I've had the opportunity. Jimmy Dykes wrote a book from ESPN. Jimmy Dykes wrote a book called The Film Doesn't Lie, and I've had the opportunity to interview Jimmy Dykes. So like seriously, I have lived a full life. But I would love to interview Tony Dungy. So it's the second person I would love to interview is a guy named Stephen Chris Chapman, who you may or may not know. But Stephen Chris Chapman, anyone listening to this from honestly, that's a fan of Christian music knows the name Stephen Chris Chapman. Those two, and I have various reasons to interview them both. They've been through multiple tragedies and are just incredible people. So yeah, that's my two biggest interviews. I think would be. I don't want to be famous. All right. Side note. I have in the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've been talking to someone that claims to say that we can, they can make our podcast famous. That's awesome. I don't want to be famous. What I would love is for our podcast to be at a place where partners can, utilize our platform. I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be famous to interview people that are famous. I just love interviewing people that are amazing and sharing them with other people. There you go.
I think that's something that I know I admire about you is that you say you don't want to be famous, which I know to believe is 100% true, right? But you want to share people's stories. You care about them as a person. It doesn't matter if it's Mark Price or LeBron James or me walking in a door. You're going to treat everyone the exact same. And I think that's a wonderful quality about you. I think it's, I don't know. I just admire that. I really like it. Okay, we're gonna move back to young Aaron.
Oh boy.
Okay, so
you're gonna try to get me to cry
Aaron
on
to
this.
send me over.
Wait, you're gonna try to get me cry, aren't you? You want to make me cry on this, don't you?
I think you already are.
I'm not.
I think you are.
I'm not. Go ahead, Kim.
Okay, so going back to young Aaron, going back to your high school days in the 216 to going to college at Mount Vernon, but I really just want to hit on your intramural championship. I mean, it is the most brought up, talked about by you thing on this podcast. So I want you to take us back to 1960 and when this was.
I wasn't even born then. Come on, I'm not that old.
Okay, 1972 is the year that Aaron won his intramural championship.
I was 2 years
So Aaron,
old.
take us back to that day and how you really your superstitions, like what you felt. Did you feel like you were gonna win? Like, just walk us through that moment. I'm sure everyone else wants to live this too.
All right. So I have a friend I got to shout out. Dave Parsons works for Donato's. Amazing guy. Hey, I don't want to promote my own podcast, but go back and listen. We've interviewed Dave Parsons. He works for Donato's. He's an incredible guy. Dave Parsons kept stats. I want everyone to know it was not 1972 because I wasn't 2 years old. It was somewhere in the 90s. I dropped 21 dimes in the championship game. 21. I could not shoot. And so I had 6 points. And this is because Dave Parsons kept stats. I wouldn't keep these myself. I do know that after one of my amazing dimes, I was running down the court, and Jamie Perozic, who was refereeing the game, said, "Man, you trying to break the all-time assist record?" Because I was dropping dimes, Cammi. I was dropping dimes, and 20 assists. I don't think it'll ever be broken unless Austin breaks it this year because he's got one more year. This is his senior year. But anyway, no. At the end of the day, I was a late bloomer. I know we joke about it a lot, and I was a late bloomer. I wasn't D1 like yourself. I didn't get them offers. I was a late bloomer, but I loved, what I loved about intramurals is I love getting to know other people. And those people are my friends, like Dave Parsons at Donato's. I could list a million more. I loved being in the gym. I loved, getting to know other guys, literally like the intramural court was our, place where even open gym was our place where I've met friends that are some of my best friends today. And so I know there's a lot of joking about the intramural championship. I was just joking with, I'm gonna hurt my back dropping this name, Mark Price, this weekend about intramural championships. But I really, really, it's not about that. Like I know I do hope those that follow this podcast and me and whatever else, I'm kidding. Like, seriously, we drop it a lot. You've given me a really hard time about dropping it. I mean, for some of us, that was everything. But honestly, it was about relationships. As always, we're always going to come back to relationship. And I've met some of my best friends playing basketball on a court somewhere, whether it was an intramural championship, which I have one of those. Shout out Joe White too, because Joe White has 3 and he likes to give me a really hard time. Now his son, literally my back is killing me already from dropping names.
Joe White has won 3 times.
So my back hurts, Cammi. It hurts. Can you give me some Advil because my back hurts from dropping names? But Evan White, who plays for the Seattle Supersonics, that's basketball, the Seattle Mariners. Evan, who's an amazing baseball player, and his dad is an incredible guy. Joe White has 3. I have 1, and Joe likes to hold that over my head. So, anyway, absolutely, as well he should, right?
Why hasn't Joe been on yet to talk about intramurals?
He did come on. It's an early episode.
People are wondering. We have a live stream and that's just what everyone's hit me with.
We really should. There's no live stream. All right. Anyway, no. Shout out to Joe. Shout out to Mount Vernon. Shout out to. I just love the intramurals. I mean, I love the relationships. Sorry. that was a long rant, but shout out Evan White and Joe and his three to my one. He's like LeBron and MJ. I mean, Joe White's the GOAT. I got one. He's got three. So I don't know what to say.
Do we have any other shout outs while we're just handing them out here?
There's probably several, but anyway, no.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Young Aaron, you won your intramural championship. Now, at this point, were you and Heather together, or did you meet Heather after college?
I met Heather after college. Yeah. So
Okay,
I graduated
so
thinking I was going to be single forever. And no, we were in church. I was in church with my mom and dad in the pew. And this family walked in front of us. This is going to be in my book. Not to plug my own book coming, but we'll
put it in the show notes.
It'll be in the show notes. The future book will tell this full story. But anyway, this family walked in front of me, and I saw a girl, and I knew I was going to marry that girl one day. And now I'm about to start to cry. Dang it, Cammi.
Got him.
No, I knew I was going to marry that girl. That's it. I met her in church. We had a long relationship for 4 years. And now we're married. 25 years this summer. So, all right. Yeah, good.
So I know you love your wife. I know you love your kids. You support them. You only got one left in the house. How are you doing with that?
You are really trying to go to the heartstrings. I mean, you are pulling every single one of them.
Well, we talked about this interview. Like, it's people need to get to know Aaron. It's like, I know you were so genuine and honest with everyone that you meet, but you put up such tough walls sometimes. So, I mean, I think the audience is going to appreciate just getting to know you and who you are, and the man behind the mic.
So what do you want to know? I lost you in that.
So how is it with only having one left? Like, Austin's about to finish up college. Emma's, what is her second year?
Yes.
And Bryn's a senior now. So
yeah. Okay. So again, it'll all be in the book. You got me on my bride. Because I just knew the day that I saw her that I was going to marry that girl. And she has been giving me enough grace many years now to not only be my bride, but also raise our family. And so you know this. You've heard me say this many times. If there's any good in my kids, it's Heather. But Austin's a senior, and Emma's a sophomore in Grace, and Bryn is a senior in high school. So we're gonna have 2 graduations this year, and gosh, you hit me right in the arrow with the heart. Austin's been amazing. It was incredible and life-changing when I had my son. I'll say this really quickly. I'm the last Armstrong, and Heather won't believe it, and anybody that listens to this may not believe it either, but I'm related to Neil Armstrong, the guy that landed on the moon. Whether you're a conspiracy theorist or not, the guy that allegedly landed on the moon, I am distantly related to Neil Armstrong. I don't know him. We don't hang out at barbecues, but anyway, I was the last Armstrong.
We should add that to your bio.
It should probably be in the bio. It really should. No, I'm the last Armstrong. And so having a son was important because that name would be passed on. Having a son right out of the gate was so special. Gosh, Cammi, you're going to get me. Austin.
I mean, now that they're adults and they're kind of moving on to their next steps, whether that be graduation for college or after college, what would be that one little thing that you would tell your younger self that they would be going through right now?
That's a really hard question, Cammi. I think I've tried to always be honest with them. I think all of us at some point, our parents tell us, oh, you can tell me anything, right? And most of us, I know as a teenager, my parents said that. And I was like, yeah, right. Like if y'all knew, I'm just like, that ain't going to happen. And so I think it's really, but we've told them the same thing. But I think what Heather and I have tried to create is a relationship with our kids. And there's a fine line between being their friend and being their parent. And so there's this weird, there's this weird line that you walk. But what I've tried to be with them is honest. I think I've mentioned it multiple times. I don't know how many times I've sat on Austin's bed and said, man, I screwed that one up, dude. Like I got it wrong. Dang it, Cammi, you got me. I think the grace that they've extended to me is far beyond the grace that I can give them. So I've tried to be honest. I've tried to be fair and let them know that, like, I'm as human as they are. I'm not perfect, and they know that. And so I've loved raising them, and now I can share this. Sometime along the summer, I don't remember when it was. Bryn's boyfriend was over, and Emma's boyfriend from Iowa, right? And Austin's girlfriend was over, and my math's not so good, as you know. I got an 813 on my ACT. How many of us that was sitting around the table were playing games one night? All of us, us, Heather and I, and Heather calls them, I think, friends, special friends, or something like that. Anyway, boyfriends and girlfriends, whatever they want to call them. I don't know what the labels are today, but anyway, all of us were sitting around this big old table, and we were playing games, and it was loud as can be and fun. And gosh, that's the moment you live for. It really is. That's what you want, is to know that for my girls, there's a guy that loves them and cares about them as much as I do. And for Austin, he's got a special friend or girlfriend or whatever it might be called, someone he can love on. And I hope I've taught him well, and that he will love her like I love Heather.
It's so fun to see. Like, I know you and Heather have been, 25 years?
25 years this summer, yeah.
Yeah, like my parents have been together for going on 32 years now. And it's, obviously I'm not a parent yet or a mother, and I don't really know what that looks or feels like, but just seeing the love and growth from my parents to me, and I'm sure your kids are going to say the same thing about you. It's like, there's that example. Like, I know you said that you've sat on Austin's bed and told him you screwed up, as we all have, but it's that love and tenderness and building them up and picking them up when they fall. And it's being able to see that. And again, I don't have kids yet, so I don't know how that's going to be, but it's definitely opened my eyes to something different. And I see that in you as well. So
thank you.
Okay, let's lighten the mood. We're going to do rapid fire.
Thank you. Goodness. I'm dead over here, Cammi. Goodness, you're killing me. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a short phrase, such as your favorite soda or your favorite da-da-da or this or that.
You already know what's my favorite soda. You answer that one. You already know my favorite soda.
Right. Oh.
Yeah. Like, hello?
Yeah. Okay, that's why I use that as an example, because that's a no-brainer.
No-brainer for anyone listening.
Okay, are you ready? You have 5 seconds to answer.
Goodness. Okay.
Okay, audience, if you would like to play along and see how well you know Aaron, you can keep track and add us or tag us on Instagram, or Aaron's a Twitter guy. So tag Aaron on Twitter with how many questions you got right.
Absolutely.
Okay, Aaron, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Coke or Pepsi?
Duh. It's Diet Coke. Always.
Okay, we're going to pause the game. I don't need so much sass with the answer.
That was a layup. That was seriously a layup.
Like, I know we've had a little bit of a rough go here, and we've been up and down, but we just got to tone it down a little bit.
It's Diet Coke always. Pepsi. Look, if you open a can of Pepsi, let me explain. Again, you said 5 seconds. If you open a can of Pepsi and you leave it, it's flat. Diet Coke, I can leave a Diet Coke on my desk in the morning. It'll still taste as good as it did the night before. So Diet Coke. I don't drink Coke. Diet Coke all day, every day.
Coke is the best. Flight attendants must hate you because of how fizzy it is.
Yeah, well, they give you a whole freaking cup of ice, and then they give you like a shot of Diet Coke. Can you just give me the whole can?
Yeah, I'm with that.
All right.
Okay, back to the game. Okay, UNC or Duke?
Come on, these are come on. Now you're just trying to irritate me. You're trying to irritate me.
Is it working?
It's not working. UNC. Period. Day. End of day. Period.
Okay, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
LeBron or Mark Price?
Mark Price. Every day. All day. Look.
Sweet or salty?
No, I know we only have 5 seconds. Look, LeBron brought a championship to Cleveland, and shout out LeBron. Thank you for coming home. Mark Price. Mark Price didn't have a caravan of drama with him. He just played. And so Mark Price.
Okay, shout out to Mark. Add it to the list.
Love him.
Okay, you answered sweet or salty.
Friend of show, by the way.
Who?
Sweet or salty? Neither. Chicken sandwich.
Cake or cookies? That's stupid.
What was the next one?
I don't know, because I'm just thinking about the chicken sandwich.
Chicken sandwich. You know, how many times did you pick up lunch? I love me a chicken sandwich. By the way, McDonald's is testing a Big Mac with 2 chicken patties. Shout out McDonald's. Go ahead.
Well, out of all of your chicken sandwich experiences, what restaurant would you say is the chicken sandwich top?
Depends. Fast food or sit down.
We can go both.
All right.
We have time.
Sit down. It is the Rusty Bucket. And it's the Rusty Bucket in Hilliard with our favorite waitress, T, bringing it out.
T is not there anymore. T now works at Beef O'Brady's, but shout out to T.
Shout out to T. She's the greatest server ever. She's amazing. And if you go to Beef O'Brady's, apparently, give her a huge tip. But I would say the Rusty Bucket in Hilliard has the greatest buffalo chicken sandwich I've ever seen. It's as big as your head. It's amazing. It's literally 2 meals. Fast food, KFC. Hands down. It's close. What?
I thought you would say Popeyes.
It's close. I was just going to finish. It's close. Popeyes is second. And then everybody's going to be like, what about Chick-fil-A? Oh, no, that ain't a crispy chicken sandwich. Like, you really got, I mean, shout out Chick-fil-A. They're in a category of their own. That's like, ordained, religious, whatever. Man, the KFC chicken sandwich is amazing. And Popeyes is right there, but KFC knows what they're doing. That's why it's chicken. So, yeah, there you go.
Okay, and just a little bit of harder one now. Austin or Emma?
No. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. This got us in a lot of trouble many years ago. Yeah. So let me tell the story.
What you said.
What?
I never told them what you said.
I didn't have an answer. No.
You did?
No, yeah. I did not. No. So many years ago, Cammi and another individual and I were at lunch, and I think the question was, who's your favorite? And I said, I do not have a favorite. I love them all differently and the same. That was my answer, and it's still true today. Now, what you all said was you thought Emma was my favorite, and that's not true.
No, it's not true that you don't have a favorite, because I believe every parent has a favorite.
No.
Okay, hear me out.
No.
Okay. In my family, everyone knows that I'm the favorite. Shout out to Herb and Donna, Erica, they love you. It's just different.
Yeah.
Like the time that they spent with me with softball, like favorite, we'll use it loosely. Like I was the favorite, like all the attention, whatever. Like our other friend, she says the same thing, that she was the favorite growing up. So I know everyone has their own qualities and whatever else you want to say, but every parent still has a favorite, whether it be I have a favorite today, tomorrow my favorite might be different. Everyone has a favorite.
No, I disagree.
Yes.
I disagree. I disagree. I love them all differently, but the same, if that's possible. So any parent listening to me will know that, you know, I love them all differently, but the same. That's it. That's all I can say. And I think I told you at that lunch that we were at was that someone told me that love doesn't divide, it multiplies. Yeah.
Put that on a Hallmark card.
Put it on a Hallmark card. It's the truth. Love doesn't divide; it multiplies. And so, I know with our third, I was happy with Austin and Emma. We had a salt and pepper shaker. We had one of each. I was good to go. Heather wanted to have one more, and we had Bryn, and our lives wouldn't be the same without her. So, she's my creative cat. Emma's my emotional empath. That we share a lot of the same tendencies, but Austin's my dude. So I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I love all three of them equally. I do not have a favorite. I promise you that. I know you all think it's Emma, and I do love me some Emma, but all three of them, I love them the same.
I don't even think I guessed Emma.
You did say Emma, but that's fine.
Regardless.
Right.
Well, that's a great place to kind of start to slow things down. So I just want to close out with, one, I appreciate you. I love what you do and who you are and everything in between. But just close us out. Give us one last final thing that, again, you want the people to know about you or who you are.
I think I want people to know about our business.
No,
I do. Hopefully people know me. I don't. Again, I go back to the question, how does a podcast make money? Podcast doesn't make money. I'm not Joe Rogan. I don't want to be Joe Rogan, to be honest with you. I mean, I'd take his cash, but I don't want to be Joe Rogan. What I want people to know is our business. And honestly, I literally just felt like it was just time to not work for someone else, not to work. I mean, I spent, as you said in the bio, I spent 30 years in corporate America working for someone else. I had two goals when I jumped out of the plane. One, I don't want to work for anyone else anymore. And two, I want to have multiple streams of income. I think after a year and a half, I don't want to say we have achieved that. Because I posted it on, as you said, I love me some Twitter. So I posted on Twitter today. I tell a lot of people our story is kind of like the Jerry Maguire story about halfway through, because the rest of it, it's the Jerry Maguire story without the love story. I mean, seriously, it's, you decided to join me in this journey, and I will not forget this. So again, I'm turning the tables. You decided to join me on this journey, and I won't forget that. And there's others. There's so many other people that have joined us, and I can't, number one, believe it, but number two, thank you all enough, because it's a dream, it's a vision, and we all kind of jumped out of the plane without a parachute, but as we're descending, every now and then we get this little parachute and then a bigger parachute and a bigger parachute. And it's been so fun. And so I think the closing words I would say is that, no, I don't make money on a podcast. I want to make sure people understand you don't make money on a podcast, regardless of what YouTube videos say or other things. Unless somebody wants to write us a big old check to be the title sponsor. And that's absolutely possible. By the way, email me, Aaron@MyUnscripted.com or Cammi@MyUnscripted.com. But I think our business and people like yourself and Nick and Jess and Cooking with CJ, shout out Cooking with CJ, because that's my dude, and Kelsey and there's so many others. I feel like the list grows every day, but everyone that's kind of come together to say, let's do something bigger together. That's what I want people to know. I think reach out to us. We're doing something special. I don't even know what it is. It changes by the day. My days are crazy and they're awesome and I love it. And I've not had a bad day in a year and a half. And you and I, Cammi, I'm just going to say it. We had a lot of bad days. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of bad days. And I don't want to speak for you, but I will say that we haven't had a bad day in a year and a half. And thank you for jumping out of the plane with me. And I think our best days are still ahead. And that's what I want everybody to know is our best days are still ahead. Your best day is still ahead. Anyone listening to this, your best day is still ahead. And that's just what I believe. And I'll take it to my grave.
Awesome. Thanks for letting me do this, Aaron. I really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing. Thanks for opening your heart. Thank you for getting a little emotional with us. But if you or anyone you know is listening and you need anything as far as content creation, website development, anything you need to do to run your business, you can reach out to either of us or go to myunscripted.com. But thanks for listening, and you're the best, Aaron.
No, see, I was going to get the last word. No, all right, I'll just stop because I could tell stories on Cammi all day long, and I'm not. You're not the guest I am. All right, I'll stop. Thank you for believing, and yes, you're correct. So if there's anything that we can do to help your business, maybe we can't help your business, but contact us, and we'll be happy to help.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Unscripted Podcast with your host, Aaron Conrad. Make sure to like, share, follow, and review on your favorite podcast platforms. Also, make sure to check out my song Great and Mighty One on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you find your music. We'll see you next time on Unscripted with Aaron Conrad.